Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast where we dive into the biggest entertainment stories and the latest political news. Before we get started, make sure you smash that like and that subscribe button. We really would appreciate it. I'm Carlos, and that is Robert, and we're your favorite podcasters. And this is The Last Fucking Word. So let's get into it. Robbie, how you doing today?
I am doing actually fabulous, and there's a number of reasons why. One, we have stopped drinking for like 60 days now, so I'm like,
Wait. Hold on.
we
You mean water, coffee?
well, coffee, yeah, but like no alcohol or beer or anything. We've been doing like really, really well, and
Really?
I feel absolutely amazing. So it's like, because
But
like,
what brought this on? What's the intention?
well, one, because I was starting to develop a pot belly. And when you get like our age, you just can't like flush out the alcohol out of your system as easy as possible. So you go to the gym and you're just like doing, negative progress. You know what I mean? You're just
Yeah.
inflamed all the time. And so I was like, you know what? We're taking a little sabbatical from the old liquor.
So 60 days.
We're going to keep going. We might not drink for the rest of the year. I mean, yeah. I think it's a wrap.
Yeah, as you get older, alcohol becomes very, very like difficult for your body to consume and handle.
Yeah.
Especially with the inflammation of the gut. That's what it really does. It inflames that gut.
Oh my God, you see it in your face, and we've been trying other alternatives to entertainment, which means like microdosing on stuff. So like we're still entertaining ourselves, but just no liquor, no calories.
Yeah, let it go. It's that time. I mean, come on.
Do you drink? I don't even know if you drink.
I never drink.
You never drink? Stop it.
Honest to God, never.
Stop it.
I'm being honest, right? I've never drank. I mean, I've had one drink, and that was when I was like, no, listen, when I say drink, I mean like consistently drink. I've had one drink before, and my friend, he offered it to me, and I was just like, I don't want to do it. He was like, just do it and try it. You'll never know if you'll like it or not. So I tried it, and I was like, no. And the reason for me why I don't honestly drink is because I've watched my relatives, my families, members all drink, and I saw that life, and I didn't want to live that life. I'm not saying that life has to be that way or is that way, but I saw it at one point. I said, "No, what? I'm good. I don't want to deal, stumbling and drunk and there's some fighting." I mean, that was my experience. So in my subconscious, I'm thinking that could potentially be me. So that's why I've decided not to drink.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Nothing else. It was just that. But I think drinking is okay in moderation for people. I think it's cool. Social.
Yeah.
But anyway. But yeah, that's that. So let's get into our first topic. Y'all ready? Okay, so let's talk about this Janet Jackson issue. Okay, so we know Janet Jackson initially, last week, I think it was, made a blanket statement of what we call disinformation, that she assumed that Vice President Kamala Harris was not Black. She said it in an interview with the BBC, and there was a lot of uproar, a lot of distinction in how she said it and the way she said it. I thought it was a bit passive aggressive, but that's just me. What are your thoughts on why she said it? Let's start there first.
Oh boy. I mean, it's funny to watch people who are so disappointed that there's a celebrity not on their side. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, come on. I mean, who cares? But I honestly think she comes. Okay, well, one conversation I want to talk about is her family is very Jehovah's Witnesses. She's not a Jehovah's Witness.
She practices some of the rituals, like
and what people may not know is Jehovah's Witnesses don't vote. Yes, they're tax exempt and they don't vote, which to me is a crime, hands down. But like, what the fuck? But so I think she's in a very conservative bubble. Have we ever heard her say anything about politics in her entire career? I don't think she's ever made a stand. Where was she during the Obama era? Where was she during any era? I've never heard her say anything about politics. And this is probably why this statement was so polarizing for people last week, because she actually said something and people were like, oh God, she has like a soul. I just, I honestly, either she said it because she wants to be relevant and she wants to be talked about in the papers, or she's generally miseducated, misinformed. She's probably around this little like conservative bubble of people who are like, working with her, and she doesn't know any better. Or because she's lived in California, she knows Senator Harris. Come on. Come on. Senator Harris. What it is, or what mixed people are. You know what I mean? You're not dumb. So either it was a dig at her, which I think it might be a dig at Senator Harris. Like maybe she doesn't like her. Maybe there's something else going on personally. Right. And she was like, you know what? I'm going to slow her down because, I don't know. But to me, it's like, why would you say something like that, period, and have it released?
Let's backtrack just a little bit. In 2003, she made a statement when Michael Jackson, her brother, was on trial. Did you know that? So she made a statement about the prosecution of her brother. And she said to ABC News in 2003 that a child is going to be able to recall things that happened to them. But she said it in a way that was kind of in the middle. You know what I mean? She wasn't biased about, the prosecution. She just pretty much said that kids, if something happened to them, and she made a statement that kids will remember the traumatic moments and situations, especially something, sexual will happen. And so I think she didn't like the fact that Kamala had made that statement because it was public. It was a public statement that she had made about Michael. And I think she's wielded that knife in her side ever since then.
So it's a dig at her.
Yes, it's a dig at her. And it's very unfortunate that someone like Janet would do that. But I think it's what you said earlier. She's in such a silo, like she's in such this place where no one is able to touch her. She creates the world, and the world comes to her as opposed to her going out to the world. So she doesn't know what's going on. She don't know what's going on with politics. She don't know anything. Trust me, if she did, she would be outspoken, similar to, Taylor Swift or, a lot of other celebrities. She just doesn't know. And she's very ignorant about it. Think about it. She's been ignorant about this since, like you say, Jehovah's Witnesses, since she was a child. So what incentive does she have to get involved in a political process? She's rich.
Yeah, and I bet you she's never voted either. I put my hands on it. I bet you she's never
I don't know if she hasn't, but I will say, I will kind of point to that, because when you vote, there's a sense of pride that you have, that you get.
Yeah, you create a voice for yourself. Yeah, you create a voice for yourself. You get yourself involved. You know what I mean? And you can tell when somebody's just like not even involved, but just wants to. Oh God, everybody knows like their worst situation is to argue with somebody about politics who doesn't vote. You know what I mean? They'll have all these opinions about it, then they go, "But I don't vote because I don't think they're some conspiracy theory shit." But it's like, no, you got to get out there and vote. You got to be kind of like a part of the movement. You got to know what's going on in politics. You just can't say things, especially somebody who has a brand like that. You have an audience who absolutely adores you. It's better probably for you to stay quiet, do your voting, or don't say or say nothing at all. But if you need to choose a side here, if you're going to actually say something and have some meaning behind some of these remarks, you know what I mean? But if you don't, then like you're just saying things to stay relevant, and then now you hurt your brand. Now you got people on social media attacking her, which is like the last thing.
Yeah,
she needs at 68 years old.
They're like, I'm not going to her concert. I'm not going to support her anymore. I can't believe she said this,
which is ridiculous.
You guys are doing way too much. First of all, she's a human being. She's a celebrity. She doesn't share anything that you share in life. Maybe she breathes, puts her pants on at the same time. But she's rich. She's living in this place where she doesn't even care. Trust me, they don't care. You think they do, but they don't. They're corporate. They're very corporate citizens, and they would not really give you any reason that they care about your political outcome, the political outcome. Because guess what? I'm in my own silo. Who cares? Moving on. She's still gonna make money.
Yeah, I think she just learned a big lesson that she should just keep her mouth shut and just stay out of things, unless you're gonna be a voice of something from the get go. Otherwise, you're just damaging your brand at this point, whatever brand's left of that. So, You know, it was like, all right, you know, at least she got popped up into the news and talked about a little bit, but otherwise, it's like, girl, you kind of did some damage to
honestly, okay,
yourself.
but can you imagine a world where we don't like Janet Jackson?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine that world
Yeah.
where she's polarizing? Like, I can't even imagine that she's been such a low key, non problematic, celebrity that it's just like, come on, guys, give her a little. I'm with that side. We'll give her a little grace. I think it was the Michael Jackson thing, but give her just a little bit of grace and move the hell on from Janet because it ain't that serious.
Do we consider the Jacksons to be royalty? Like, and where do you put that How do you rank that family in the
I think
history?
they are, and I think Janet is holding on by a thread. I
Okay.
really do. I think because think about it, Tito's gone, Michael's gone. The collaborative effort of the team of the Jacksons are non-existent. There's no tours going on, so it's like you're trying. Janet is like the last piece in that chess game that you're playing with, and you're hoping somehow that she will be the one to win it, but every once in a while something she says something stupid like this, and that's okay because she is, I would say, human, and it's
Yeah,
unfortunate
she
in the
is human.
climate.
Yeah, she's human. I just think celebrities should, especially pop celebrities and people who have, a certain base. They should just. I mean, their PR team should be like, maybe we shouldn't release that statement quite
Right,
yet. You know
right,
what I mean? But it seems like if she was adamant to get that out there, then that's a dig. Obviously,
yeah.
clearly, she wanted to like kind of hurt the campaign and.
But they asked her the question. She didn't come forth with the statement until they asked her. So
Yeah, and
I
that's
don't
why
think
she
she's going to
says.
bring.
That's why you would say, and off the record. You know what I mean? Just those words right there will help the situation. Then people would be like, okay, we'll keep this under the secret. But like, and then she could say that was a leak and I didn't say that. But she didn't even, she recanted it and she doubled down on it. So it's like,
Right.
all right, girl. Well, I guess you don't know what, Senator Harris is. She only went to a black college for freak's sake. Like, how did she get in there?
Yeah. It was a dig. It was a dig. Give
Yeah, it was
her
a
that.
dig. It was a stupid little dig. You know what I mean? What did you think about D.L. Hughley's comment saying that Janet Jackson's got white
Okay. Let,
nose?
let me tell you this.
Oh, I
Remember,
hate when we go in that direction.
But D.L. Hughley was on the other side of the train tracks with Kamala for so long. Like he took digs at Kamala and said some very, very harmful,
Mm-hmm.
polarizing things about Kamala Harris, and now he decided to have a change of heart. And I just feel bad. I don't feel bad, but I'm just like, dude, pick a side, pick a side. And now he's talking about Janet, like her white nose or whatever.
Yeah.
And now he's not. But see, that's to me when you don't have a point, when you have to go attacking someone's like features, someone's like image, as opposed to the actual conversation, the intellectual conversation that we're having. Like, stick to the conversation. It has nothing to do with it. I know he's a comedian. That's what people are going to say. He's a comedian, and I get that. But at the same time, I think it was just a poor choice of words by her. But I just think DL, he just went off the deep end. Like, dude, will it in just a little bit. Like, come on.
I think because we also live in this culture now because of the internet where celebrities are, somebody will say something and then another celebrity who is absolutely, pointless has to like say their two words so that they could be relevant for a
Yeah,
week. And you know what I mean? Like I think the inner circle of fighting between these celebrities on social media, leaking all their secrets and stuff, is just becoming such a dirty
yeah,
business to me. It's just like, everybody's rumors are coming out. All these rumors are supposedly coming true. This Jaguar right woman just spilling all sorts of like tea online. Like it's a little bit like unnerving and it's a little bit annoying. However, people love to suck up these conspiracies and make them true. And,
right.
you know what I mean? And these celebrities are trying to make themselves relevant now, like just by digging at each other all the time. And it's like a little exhausting. And it's all it's going to do is just put you in a pocket where you're just going to lose sponsors and advertisements. And, you know what I mean? Like people can't, when it comes down to it, advertisers can't have to make a choice. You know what I mean? You can't just be like a nasty person to other people. Like, come on. Just
But
grow up.
before, remember, there was no social media, there was no influencers. So a lot of the influencers have taken that spot of the
Mm-hmm.
celebrity. That's why they have to create news, and there's a constant 24-hour news cycle about a celebrity now. Because now, if you go online, you're looking at all these other, influencers, sponsors, podcasters, whatever, you're looking at them more so than the celebrities. So if you notice, most of the celebrities are going to the influencers. How many times have you seen them go to a podcast or someone who's on Twitch or someone who's doing their thing to kind of get their equity as a celebrity back up? And that's what's happening. So now the celebrities are forced to, it's just like living in the hills. Those animals are, we moved in the hills, and now the animals are like, wait a minute, what the hell? And now they're going to attack you. Like now they're coming into the actual homes to attack people. And that's what celebrities are doing now. I don't mean to call them attack animals, but you know what I mean.
I have an interesting question. So, and if Michael Jackson was in his prime now with social media, what would he be like?
I think but you got to think about his mindset.
Would he be on TikTok? Would he be? I think he would, because he did like to do camera appearances and stuff.
He'll be on TikTok, but he'll be extremely, very strategic with what he does. Have you ever seen Erykah Badu's Instagram? The most creative, amazing, just incredible, like the way she tells stories and how she does her Instagram and TikTok. It's incredible. I think Michael will be like that. Like it's so artistic. It's not like, look at me, I'm gonna do a dance, I'm gonna do a dance. No, it's so. She has the best. I promise you, hands down. Erykah Badu, I'm saying, has the best social media presence there is. She may not have the biggest following, but she has the best way how she expresses herself. I love her.
She is great. My other favorite celebrity online is Patrick Stewart. He is adorable. He is so adorable on the internet.
X-Men?
Yes.
Oh, I haven't seen.
Well, also, Star Trek: Next Generation.
Yeah. I have to look that up.
He's amazing.
Anyway, let's move on to our next topic. Okay, our next topic is, remember, we do this every week. Who's the greatest? There's always amazing people in the world, whether there's entertainment artists, whether there's musicians, singers, dancers, whatever. We try our very best to give our perspective on who we think is the best. Because remember, there's always this infighting about who's the best. So we're going to venture into the movies. We're going to talk about Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, and Jason Voorhees. Those three. Now remember, those are the top three. Saw came up. I put Saw to the back because, it's just a whole different situation. But those three, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, and Freddy Krueger, has lived rent-free in our brains for so many years. And we're just going to have a quick little comment about who we think is the best of the greatest of the three and why. There always has to be a why. Okay, always has to be a why. Robbie, I'll let you start.
Oh God.
Who you going with? Who you got?
Well, my favorite horror film series of all time is Nightmare on Elm Street, hands down.
You tripping?
I'm a horror film fan, so that one will always get you because you're talking about somebody who actually controls your dreams. So his immortal power to get into your head and manipulate you and get you in your sleep is absolutely frightening. And he's got a good sense of humor. Now, when you get into the Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers stuff, to me, those are kind of they're kind of the same thing. They're psychological horrors. Who, if I can remember correctly, Michael Myers, it started off with he was kind of like a disabled kid who had a crush on his sister, wasn't it? Something like that.
No, and then okay, so you're playing games. You playing games right now. Michael Myers was a kid. Michael Myers was a kid who had these, like I say, psychological problems in his mind.
He was disabled.
Just like
Yeah, and he had he was checking out his sister and stuff like that, and then he went on a little killing spree. Right. Whereas the other one, and Jason Voorhees, his mother was the villain at first, and I think in the first film, and he was a bullied kid, you know what I mean, and then they drowned him obviously in the lake or whatever like that, and then he became who he is today. And those movies are kind of they're more to me propaganda films because it's more let's stop teenagers from having sex in the woods and stuff like that. Where Jason, I mean, where Freddy Krueger is he was I can't say this online obviously, but he loved kids. and then the parents burned him alive because they found out that he was
messing with things.
He was messing with kids, and then he becomes this immortal figure in people's dreams. And to me, that was it's the best constructed villain of all time. Still today, I think that's one of the most constructed monsters of all time. But
okay, before you say but, let me give you my opinion about this. I disagree with cute Freddy being, the best character. I really think it's Michael Myers, and this is the reason why, because he made it human. He made the characteristics of this person human. He humanized Michael himself. He didn't have a family. I mean, he had a family, but like you said, he went to his sister and saw her nude or whatever, and he wanted to, he just looked at her. He was curious. I called it curiosity, and then he ended up killing his sister, and then he ended up going after his other sister to kill the other sister.
Oh, so, that's right. Yeah.
So to me, Michael Myers had this family element that I think a lot of people gravitated to more so than just this fantasy of Freddy. Michael was he was a baby. He was the babysitter killer, right? So more people can identify with him more so than this nightmare thing that could be sci-fi, the fantasy that's going on.
Yeah, it's like more fantasy.
Michael Myers was real. And I remember watching it when I was in like maybe 4th or 3rd grade. I was 7 or 8. I remember watching, and I was terrified. When I say terrified, because it seemed so real. It wasn't fake. That could happen. Someone could knock on the door. Someone could be in a window. And the way they shot it, the way they shot that film, incredible. Like it really, really put everybody in a place where they thought that could happen to them.
Yeah, it's shot pretty well. The original film's pretty. Everything in the 80s.
Jason
horror films were different. They were less censored. They were a lot more gory.
Yes.
They weren't so catchy and jump scare like today. It's very like everything's based off the jump scare. You know what I mean? Where like these are psychological horror films that like built up suspense, and all the greatest horror films of pretty much of all time are either done in the 70s and 80s, hands down. Like let me ask you this question off to Jason, Michael, and Freddy. What would be your top 5 horror films?
Top 5 horror films?
Mm-hmm.
Halloween 1.
Okay.
Halloween 2.
Oh dear. Okay.
Yes, Halloween 2. And I think I really, really liked this movie called The Hitchhiker.
Okay.
You ever seen it?
Mm-hmm.
Hitchhiker. Chucky was 2, and then I would say I would put maybe Jason 1 and Jason 2. Freddy Krueger to me he was too comical, so I couldn't get scared. Like he would make jokes and I would be laughing at the movies. So that didn't sit well with me, like in a way where, okay, I'm supposed to be scared. So he was too comical. So I wasn't afraid of Freddy. Freddy was just, we're going to have a good time. As opposed to when I get ready for Halloween. I get ready for Jason. Those are two movies I get ready for. So like I said, Halloween 1, Halloween 2, then Hitchhiker, and then the other 2 will be, to me, Jason films. There's nothing now to this day that I think. Well, there was a movie called Wrong Turn, but it was a little crazy. You ever seen that movie, Wrong Turn?
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
With those monsters and I just like it when you're able to like it to feel real. When it feels real, when you leave that movie theater or you leave your house, you're looking in your backseat. You're looking in your garage. You're looking around. Freddy, I'm not looking nowhere. I'm just like, he's in my dream. So what am I looking for?
Yeah, you just can't sleep. You're looking around the room and you're like, I can't close my eyes. All right.
No, but he didn't. I wasn't a big Freddy person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I watched all his movies. I just wasn't invested. I wasn't like psychologically, emotionally, like, there was no difficulty sleeping. I was just like, okay, whatever. But with Halloween, that mask and that music, think about the music. Think about it, the music. Halloween has the best music, the best soundtrack. It's
a good score. Yeah.
Yeah, best score on all. John Carpenter he created the score and he directed the movie. Who does that today? Only person I can think of.
Robert Eggers.
Who? What'd you say?
Robert Eggers. He doesn't do the score, but he's the to me the number one horror film director right now, and he's recreating Nosferatu, which is the original vampire film back in. But he also directed The Witch, and this guy is the real snizzle. Right. Now, my top 5 of horror films, which is going to be a little bit off the list, is going to be number 1. The scariest and the best horror film done of all time is The Thing. Is bonkers good. And then I would have to say The Fly.
I know he's going to say The Fly. I knew it.
Fly is fantastic, and I'm so shocked that he is not remaking that series right now, because that movie is freaking incredible. And then I would have to say Hellraiser. Hellraiser is Clive Barker, is absolutely crazy bonkers.
Yes.
And then I would have to say Nightmare on Elm Street, and my number 5 would be, what was that, 6? My number 5 would be Alien.
Okay, now let me ask you this question. Out of all of those films you just named, how many of them have had a resurgence into the population besides Alien? Because that just came out this year.
All of them.
No, they have not. What are you
talking about? They just redid The Thing like 6 years ago. Exactly. Hellraiser just got redone like 6 years ago. Nightmare on Elm Street is being made into a TV series right now. The Fly hasn't even been talked about, which is interesting. I have a feeling it probably will be pretty soon here, because that is a brilliant script. And then I think they're even getting ready to do another Saw or whatever like that. So they're all coming back. You know what I mean? But like all horror films have resurgence. You know what I mean? Like they're even doing another Texas Chainsaw Massacre right now, and
I forgot all about Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, and that one's, you know what I mean. You could say that kind of spawned the Jason and the Michael Myers thing too, even though that was kind of like the same time period. You know, I think Halloween was first.
Yeah, Halloween was first. Halloween is the.
And then you have to see The Exorcist too, but I don't think The Exorcist is scary. I think it's hilarious, but. You know what I mean? But for my parents who saw The Exorcist, they were like, we were like throwing up in the theater, and I was like, really? That girl made me laugh. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it was funny. The remastered one looks amazing, though. You know what I mean? But I'm so sick of like kids who are being possessed by demons, and then they got to call in a Catholic priest. I am so sick of that stuff. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? And they do a few prayers and,
The Nun, remember The Nun? Similar to that.
Yeah, I'm done with those little like Catholic horror film stuff. Like, who cares?
I'm surprised that Halloween is not even in your top 5.
I'm not a Halloween fan at all.
Okay, that's what it is.
Somebody who walks that slow with a knife, I'm not interested. He would have got his ass whooped in the hood. He'd have been walking that slow down. He'd have been shot 60 times. It'd have been a wrap.
Right.
But no, like I don't know. I'm not a Mike Myers and Friday. I mean, Mike Myers and Halloween and I'm not no. It's not my thing.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I like more fantasy gore, which is fine.
Yeah.
Or sci-fi gore, but I'm not saying those are not good films, because they are good horror films and well-needed horror films, and we still copy all of those kind of like examples of films today. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know. And there's some good old horror films coming out soon. So the horror film community is strong as ever now, and the direction that's going right now with new directors, there is some really, really good stuff coming out right now. So I
want the new ones to be psychological, like play with my mind.
Have you seen Hereditary?
Hereditary, no.
Hereditary. Oh,
that was years ago, wasn't it?
That was like 8 years ago. It's a A24 film. Whoa, that film, and The Witch, who's directed by Robert Eggers as well, is you're talking about. We'll talk about that later, but Hereditary will get you.
Yeah, okay, we'll get you.
And it's not a horror film technically. I guess it is. Yeah, I guess so. But to me, a horror film has to have a monster. Most people will say, Scream is a horror film, but it's not really, because it's more of like a psychological thriller.
It's more of a clue.
It's more like a clue. Yeah, it's not. Clues. That's not a monster. Like, to me, and even the first Halloween is technically not a horror film. It is a psychological thriller. You know what I mean? He's not a monster yet, but then they make them monsters when they can't die and stuff like that. To me, that's just my opinion about horror films. I don't think just because you have a knife and you're going around stabbing people, it's a horror film. So there.
To me, to me, it is. We can get on this forever. We can talk about this forever, but you know it, I know it, and y'all at home know it, that Halloween is the best horror film franchise in the entire world. The box office says it.
No, that's not true.
Okay, it is true. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna shut you down.
It's not the highest grossing horror film of all time, but
yes, it is.
We'll let you have that.
but we're talking about.
I mean, Saw is like 5 times more successful than
it has 11 films. Like,
yeah, but it's still not like it's still not even up there as like the top grossing.
But Halloween has a cult following. Saw doesn't have a cult following. People just watch Saw because it's Saw.
Well, no, Saw has more of a general like following now because it's for younger people, and Saw is more relevant now. Halloween is our age of people, so all the Halloween fans are in their 50s and 60s now.
No.
I mean, like even that they just redid it and it bombed. So it's, you know what I mean. Like Saw will release and it will be a blockbuster film. It's still Saw is a pretty good franchise. It makes tons of money. And do you know what the highest grossing horror film of all time in a weekend would be? Blair Witch Project.
Oh yeah, I mean that was garbage. But okay,
made out of Blair Witch Project is brilliant because of you know
garbage. Yeah,
stop
garbage.
Stop. Okay, well that's another conversation.
Yeah, that is okay.